All right.
Legends.
All right, welcome to the City Podcast.
Yes.
Our special guest this week, actually third podcast this week.
This is the third pod. Yeah.
Eren Legend.
Eren Legend.
Yes,
My name is Steve Mealing, so you get to know the voices once again.
And this is Chad Cranston.
Okay.
And
Eren Legend.
all right, Eren. So we're also doing We're also doing live on your Instagram.
Yes, we're currently live on my Instagram right now, and we're going to be taking whatever questions that we can.
Can I jump on too? I can jump on too.
You can jump on too, my man.
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
So you can
So I can see
Instagram him.
I'm going to ask you the questions as we come.
Yeah. So you guys hear that? Ask any questions that you guys want. The homie right
this
here
is so
going
exciting.
he's going to relay them. So
This is super exciting.
let's see what kind of things you guys come up with.
All right, so let's break into this. Eren, tell us a bit about yourself. For those who don't know, it's not just your real last name, but the fact is you are a legend in the industry.
Oh, snap.
Probably the best last name I've ever heard, actually.
For sure.
Okay. So a little bit about me. I'm 26 years old. I'm from Ottawa. Currently living in there you go. Currently living in Toronto. I've had an honor of representing Canada multiple times, competing professionally
In what field?
in physique competitions as a bodybuilder. Yes.
So 26 and stack like that, fairly well accomplished as well.
Yeah, I've won the world champion title for Canada, first athlete to do that, still the only athlete currently. Won gold for Canada at the World Championships 2 years ago as well, and had the honors again of representing Canada at the Olympia, which is the largest show that you can possibly compete in the world of bodybuilding. And I did all that naturally.
Well, I would hope so. There you go. Now people can see you.
What up?
Your shoulder's massive.
Yes.
No, we're just looking on his feed. And that's
Oh,
what people
okay,
get to see.
yeah. They're just getting a whole lot of delts right there in arms.
Yeah. I guess that's what they came for, isn't it?
Hey.
You're getting a lot of
You guys
questions
got
already
it.
coming in right now, man.
All right,
A
so
lot of
quickly, let's
questions
get
coming
through this so
Yes.
everybody knows who you are and why you're actually here. We didn't just
Yes.
pick you up off the side of the street out of a gym somewhere.
That may
You weren't
be
working
accurate.
at Popeyes.
No, bro, no.
You weren't working at Popeyes.
No, I was not working.
Or
on
GNC,
Popeyes.
so-
Nope.
How do we get to where we are right now, more or less? Because you kind of scuffled around the edges on it.
Yes. So, I've been very passionate about fitness, health, and wellness. I was working as a professional fitness and health consultant when I was living in Ottawa. Long before I was competing, long before the men's physique division was introduced to bodybuilding. So, the company that I was working for at the time had told me that, I would be favorable to compete in this new physique category here and to push it as far as possible. And essentially I wanted to get into it to show my clients that I was already working with, just everyday general public individuals, that I'm not doing anything different than you guys. I'm a natural athlete here. I'm taking my creatine, my protein, and my glutamine, as I always like to say. So I'm and working hard, and I'm just going to take this as far as I possibly can. So, with each level that I was going to, I was winning shows and continuing on winning. So I was able to finally just take it as far as I was able to go.
I have to interrupt you. Did you get tired of winning?
You never get tired of winning.
Boom,
so,
there it is.
Yeah, that's what we live for. But you know what? One of the things that I learned after doing 14 shows, competing at all levels on all the biggest stages, is that it wasn't always about winning, right? It was really about coming together and the unity that we'd have, whether it's the unity that you have with the athletes that you're competing with or the fans or anybody. Those were some of the things that, I would say that I kind of got disillusioned along the path. There's a lot of distractions in bodybuilding. Get on the cover of this magazine, get sponsored with this supplement company.
So is there like a path already? Okay, so it's not like this is a new sport, right? So it's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Arnold is the quintessential, right?
Yes.
And it's kind of like, if you look back, have you seen the movie Pumping Iron?
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
So even just during that time period, everything was pretty new, and it's not like everybody was making gobs of money, or the nutrition industry was as enormous as it is now.
Yeah.
So like they kind of had to create their own paths and ways to financing themselves and finding a career outside of that afterwards. Obviously Arnold went on to have way better things.
Yes.
Or sorry, not better things, but bigger and broader things. Is there someone who can actually, you can go to and consult with you and kind of help you pick a path, and what is the right path, what is the wrong path? Because you're talking about so many different distractions, right? Or
Well,
is it just your personal goal you had set out?
Well, I had a personal goal too, because when I got into the industry for my division, there wasn't too many athletes that were representing Canada or being a voice for natural athletics. So one of the things that I really wanted to do when I first appeared was I wanted to, and you'll always hear me say this, I wanted to create opportunities for Canadian athletes, and I wanted to represent natural athletes as well. So, you know, a lot of people don't know this about me, but I've been rejected as a Canadian athlete multiple times. I love hearing no, because it means that I'm getting one step closer to figuring out how I can achieve whatever it is that I want.
Yeah. What do you mean by reject?
So, like, for example, you know, I tried to pitch a deal, propose something to Reebok, and try and invest something into the bodybuilding industry and show them that there is profit to be made there. And they said
Exposure
no.
as well.
Yeah, so like, you know, you can go about it. And I know, you know, I know how to kind of soft step on these things here. So I'll say, you know, like, I'm a pro athlete, and they're like, okay, you're a pro athlete. Well, what is it that you do? And I'm like, okay, well, I won the world champion title. They're like, okay, that's great. All right, yeah, we're interested in working with you. What else? Oh, well, you know, I'm an Olympian, and none of these things here are, you know, they're facts, right?
Yeah.
But then they're like, well, you're an Olympian in what? What sport? And I'm like, oh, well, physique. And they're like, well, physique, what's that? And then I'm like, well, it's bodybuilding. And they're like, okay, well, yeah, good luck.
So do you find, that's what I was actually waiting to ask you.
Yeah.
Is that, so you call the industry, that industry, physique?
They're physique competitions.
There we go.
However, you know, it falls under the umbrella of bodybuilding.
That's what I was going to say. So is that like now considered to be like a dirty
Well, the thing is,
or is it because people associate bodybuilding with something that you're not yourself into? Would that be steroids, or would that be just people think of guys working out in their garage with barbells and banging their heads against the wall?
Are people still doing that?
and in tanning salons. Not everybody can afford a gym membership, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know, there is a lot of stigma in the bodybuilding industry, and I will say that before, I think the stigma was in the use and abuse of steroids, whereas now, you know, with the introduction of men's physique, which is a division that I competed in, and bikini, which is what was used to mainstream bodybuilding, because bodybuilding, you know, it kind of hit its peak and fall off. Nobody wants to be 300 pounds of muscle. Nobody can sustain eating like that and training like that all day and paying for that amount of steroids. Not that I know how much that would cost. It's kind of like being the world's
strongest man. You pretty much have to eat a cow a day.
You got to dedicate your life to that, right? So not too many people were interested in that, but they did want to challenge themselves to get to the next step of pushing their body. And that was one of the things that I was really interested in. So, you know, now the stigma is kind of around that anybody can do it, which is the issue, because you'll have people who aren't qualified coaches, who aren't certified or anything, and they may have done one show and placed top 5, and now all of a sudden they think that they have the credentials to be able to take people's health in their hands. So that's obviously an issue. Another thing is, you know, you'll have people who are just, you know, and obviously, like, I'm an advocate for anybody doing it and competing, but it's just, it's not really for everyone. It's just, people are kind of being led as like sheep right now to go compete, and they're just following the current. Me, I'm a nonconformist. I'm against the grain kind of guy. So like, the more I see people going this way, the more I'm going to go that way. But one thing that we're starting to see right now in the industry is a lot of people are really just, oh, well, let's compete. Well, why are we competing? I don't know. Just because it's kind of cool right now, right?
So going back fully back to the Reebok and what you were saying, so you tell them you're into physique, and they go, oh, you're into bodybuilding. And then the response is what after that? Is it like, that's amazing, you look great, you're so accomplished, but it's just not our brand? Or
no, it's just, it's a straight fall off.
Yeah, that's kind of
straight
weird.
fall off. Yeah, the only thing that I really got from Reebok was like a free pair of some pretty dope Reebok kicks, which helped my posture.
Well,
that was about it.
Reebok get really big with, what's that?
CrossFit.
Yeah.
CrossFit.
Yeah.
CrossFit, which is kind of a danger. You know what? Everyone to each their own. It's not my thing, but
I like the Olympic lifting approach to CrossFit.
Yeah.
But you know, I think, and you know, I don't want to say the issue with CrossFit, but the issue with CrossFit is that people are trying to beat a certain time. And regardless of actually putting a stimulus on the muscle for growth or to challenge the muscle, it's really just about throwing as much weight around as you possibly can to beat a time. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a recipe for disaster.
Wasn't any kind of competition for training kind of you know what I mean? Isn't everything supposed to be about technique?
It's always about technique.
So
it should be about
that
technique.
Is that kind of what gets compromised once you start doing an endurance aspect to training?
Yeah, definitely, and that's actually a really good point. It's something that compromises, the essential foundation of what we're trying to achieve. There's going to be people that are going to find ways to challenge themselves doing that. There are individuals that are doing these CrossFit endurance competitions with the resistance training and the weightlifting that I'm sure are doing it with textbook technique.
Yeah.
But
not everybody's like them. So what ends up happening is kind of like you got an offshoot. So all of a sudden now you've got an industry, because that blew up so big. Mm-hmm. Now you've got an industry that's kind of coupled beside it now of getting guys back to zero again, getting them healthy again. They're blowing up backs, knees, whatever it is, as well as the specific supplements in accordance to that as well, right?
Yeah, and that's it's interesting because
industry, right?
Yeah, what I'm actually noticing right now, and I've worked with like over 3,000 athletes worldwide, is a lot of people are looking for that next challenge, whether they're ready or not. They usually start with CrossFit, is what I've actually noticed, and
cultish, eh?
Cultish.
Yeah.
Everybody finds their thing. At the end of the day, I don't care how you find fitness or how fitness finds you, as long as you're living some kind of a hyperkinetic lifestyle. I think that's important. If badminton is your thing, go badminton it up. If CrossFit is your thing, go CrossFit it up. If walking your dog is your way of getting out of the house and getting active, then by all means. But what I notice is a lot of people will do the CrossFit, they'll get injured, and then we see them trying to find alternative ways to stay in shape without doing such ballistic movements, and then they'll get into bodybuilding. So I've actually noticed, I can't tell you how many people I've spoken to, 30 or more people who said, I started with this CrossFit thing. I joined the club with the cube or the box or whatever the hell they call it. Yeah. And then I got injured. I hurt my wrist, I hurt my back, I hurt my knee. So I had to just start doing simple isolation exercises prescribed by the physio or whatever it may be. And then, the next challenge for me was maybe I'll go into a bodybuilding competition, see how I can,
well, it kind of makes sense because in the past 10 years, not that I've been keeping track, but just looking back at a short window, it seems as though everybody kind of was going crazy for a while, say some years ago, with their partying and bar hopping and the nightlife and blingity bling. Mm-hmm. And now it seems like everybody's kind of growing up a bit and they're looking to feel better about themselves and get healthier and get in shape. So that industry's really blown up. You know what I mean? You've gone from gyms not being that busy to now being packed after work, and even at lunches now. You know what I mean? So it's kind of an interesting thing. So, but like everything, once you it's like music. Once you get into music, you find out your band, you find out who the bands they liked, and you kind of keep digging back down the wormhole. Well, the same with fitness. You know what I mean? As soon as everybody starts to get better at it, as far as being in shape, they're going to start to find out what their interests are. Oh, I really like being on the cycle, or I really like running. Do you know what I mean? And then the guys who are, I love gains. So you know what I mean? And they're going to research on how to get the gains, and they're going to realize that just having big biceps and shoulders and skinny legs, it doesn't work.
No. And don't skip leg day.
Don't skip leg day. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're going to realize that there's this whole side of things where sculpting the body, is something that's vast and is well recognized as well worldwide. So I could see how people would be led to that industry, for sure. Just out of interest in self-discipline. You know what I mean?
And I think one thing no, I don't think you're wrong. But I think one thing that a lot of people are missing, that is obviously watching. Well, I guess we always talk about this cliche of macros and that type of stuff. I think when you're having a high output like that, the reason why people are getting injured, separate from bodybuilding, is because what you eat, your intake's got to be totally. What I'm thinking has to be totally different than bodybuilding. Yeah. Right. And I'm not saying that one is better than the other, because for myself, I know when I'm underneath 3,000 calories, I'm a miserable human being. I love to eat my food. If I go to 35, I'm good. If I had 500 more, so with CrossFit and bodybuilding, and that angle of what you eat, what you intake, and what's going in your body, I think it's a big factor of you, whether you're going to stay healthy or you're going to get injured. Even with your supplements, you know what I mean. I was taking he got me into taking MCT oil, And for me, it doesn't work at all. Like fish oils work perfectly for me. Like my movements are perfect. My joints feel amazing. But for him, he's like, man, the MCT oil is a blast. And I think everybody's saying that it's a blast. But again, you know what I mean? It all depends upon who you are. If it's going to work for you, like, do it. You know what I mean?
But just like even like dealing with CBD oil for injuries and any kind of inflammation. You know what I mean?
Do you take CBD?
No.
Do you take any like Advil or anything for inflammation?
Nothing. Honestly, beast mode.
Yeah.
That should be my my anti-inflammatory like supplement.
Well,
beast mode. Just
I'm
beast
older
mode.
than you, so as you get a bit older,
No,
like,
I have
kind of
injuries.
These
I have
things happen,
injuries.
right?
I have a ton
and
of
inflammation
injuries,
is obviously your enemy. And it seems that what I've noticed is that like I used to take Advil quite a bit, liquid gel or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that the CBD oil actually it works really well.
Okay.
And for
it works amazing. Works amazing.
But I know my father or someone else is just like, I don't know. They're not buying into it. I don't know. Maybe it's because they got arthritis. That's a totally different ballgame. We're not going to talk about it. But just for inflammation after like being at the gym, like I'll take it in the morning after I go to the gym. So I'll do my cardio in the morning for 45 minutes. And then for the rest of the day, I'm good. But if I skip it, I notice my knees are a bit like, wonky. Just it would be interesting on your level what you guys would use for any kind of inflammation or soreness.
Or you probably go to Dr. Joe.
Yeah.
Gotta consider
Shout out to Dr. Joe.
Yeah, for sure.
Dr. Joe is he's a chiropractor by trade, but he has traveled the world. He's kind of like I don't think he's gonna hate that I'm gonna say this, but he's kind of like a hippie. And he's
shaman hippie /
he's a dope homie.
Yeah.
But he travels the world. He takes a bunch of practices from all around the world and he just applies them. And what I love about that is that he's not like a physiotherapist who says, you know, do 2-pound shoulder external rotations and come and see me, every weekend or whatever it is, kind of thing like that. You know, bring your money kind of thing, right? He's just very focused on this method is going to help you, or maybe it's going to be this one. Let's try this. Let's try that. You know, and he has just a whole kind of like toolbox of just different approaches that he uses, and he's actually used a ton of them on me, and
you found results.
And I found results doing that, and that's one of the things, you know, I'm a very simple guy, you know, I don't need a flashy car, I don't need a dope condo or anything like that. I just need...
Well, clearly. Just kidding.
It's a pretty dope condo.
It's a pretty dope condo. I'll vouch for it.
But for me, as long as I'm getting like massages frequently, like that's my investment, because your body is the biggest investment, you know what I mean?
For
You
sure.
got to take care of that. So, so I don't care about, you know, cars and stuff. When I'm gone, you know, I'm not going to have any of that. And like, I mean, I want to be comfortable living in my body.
Yeah, for sure.
Until I die, right? So
anywhere, you're good to go, right?
Yeah. I'm just going to say what's up to some people right here, because I don't know if they're still there. Reddy from Albania. What up? Shout out. We have some questions there. I don't know if you guys want to read them. Big fan. Dom, what's up? Thank you for tuning in, guys.
We got a guy named Pat Anthony Walker. Hey, Pat, shout out to you. What? Download the podcast. We're on iTunes, homie.
You're gonna have to scroll.
The same podcast.
Yeah.
All right. So the question is: do you have to be at a caloric deficit to lose body fat?
Yes. Yes, you do.
So in other words, when you were feeling grumpy, you're cutting back.
Yeah.
Trimming down.
You have to be in a caloric deficit. You can achieve caloric deficit by either performing more energy expenditure related exercises, cardio, training. I'm not going to get into it. Swimming, badminton, again, CrossFit, doesn't matter.
What about your thoughts on ketogenic diet? Flipping the script and just burning fat instead of...
Because keto does work.
Keto works, but you know what? There's...
some guys have a lot of energy from it, and some guys...
But there's a lot of misinformation about ketosis in the industry too. A lot of people just think eating no carbs means your body's in keto.
Nope.
Excuse me. There's certain variables that you need to take in place. Your protein intake can't be too high. Yeah. Your fat intake has to be just right. And you could actually get away with eating a little bit of carbohydrates as well, or having carbs in your system.
Veggies are carbs, right?
Veggies are carbs as well. And I don't think that too many people consider that. But like, I mean, if your body's not in ketosis, you're not keto.
Yeah.
And I think one of the issues with that too is some people will undereat or they will overeat. They will not actually hit their mark when it comes to ketosis diets, and it becomes.
You can get those little pea sticks.
Yeah, the little keto sticks.
But you can also get these.
What the hell is that?
Yeah,
you pee on it.
You
urinate on them.
And it tells you where your levels are.
Yeah,
if it turns its color, and
But you can also get these little pills that help kick you back into ketosis.
Yeah, and and this is what I mean. There's
They're
so
expensive.
much.
They're like $200.
There's so much misinformation in the industry right now because people are like, well, being in keto is good, but like people are like, well, what happens to you when you're in keto? And everybody's like,
the body starts.
It's a word for something.
Yeah, some people know exactly that your body is going to start.
That's why I wanted to ask you, because you're educated and you're experienced enough that there are probably people listening that are kind of on the fence. Or think they're actually doing it the right way. They haven't. They've listened to a Rogan podcast and I'm ketosis. I'm eating elk.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. Which is great for Joe. You know what I mean?
I would avoid
it. Works. Yeah, but I mean, Joe is a multi-millionaire. So he's got all the essential nutrients. Like he's not just doing that. In the morning, he starts off with a lot, like you.
Yeah.
Like he's doing his hemp. He's doing a lot of shit before he even gets to that first meal in the morning. You know what I mean? So his energy levels are already there. So he's going to worry about it. He can do whatever he wants all day long.
But a lot of guys like to skip lunch too. Anyways.
There's so much.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about. But I thought that would be something that's kind of trendy right now.
It's super trendy. It's super trendy right now.
So it's good to pass on some knowledge about it, right?
Well, my issue with keto is that, again, people aren't actually in a state of ketosis.
Do the full research. Understand what's going on.
Yeah, so you have to understand that. Keto's not for everybody as well in regards to hypoglycemia.
That's what I was going to say. Insulin levels and all that kind of stuff.
Because your insulin level is not going to, it's going to be more... if you jump in too hard, too fast, you may notice like you're gonna faint kind of thing. Like I know a lot of people who are just like, oh, I cut carbs like one day. I have some athletes, as a matter of fact, that are on like 300 grams of carbs a day, and I cut their carbs down to like 250, and they're like, oh man, people were saying like my face was faint at work and like this and that. I'm like, dude, you're eating 250 grams of carbs. Like, what are you talking about, right? So your body has to go through an adaptation phase. But the issue with keto is, in order for your body to oxidize fat, to burn fat, to metabolize fat for energy, it has to first get good at storing fat.
Yeah.
So if you put your body in a process where you're just eating elevated levels of fat, your body is going to have to, it's going to have to kind of...
build the reserves.
It's going to have to condition itself to that to build the reserves, just as you were saying, so that it can use it for energy. So the second that you start to switch back over to carbs, if you do, I mean, chances are most people will. They're not going to sustain a ketosis diet for the rest of their life, or they're going to have a family dinner one day and guess what? Mashed potatoes or something. Well, now your body is going to be in a state where you're most likely going to be gaining fat because you're consuming high levels of carbohydrates, fats,
and
proteins.
Fats,
everything. All
so
the
you get kicked right out of ketosis like that.
Oh, you're just done like that, but you're also setting yourself up to gain a lot more fat. So I stay away from it. I don't put any of my athletes on the keto.
Okay, we got another question from Dan Dunna. I think that's your last name. Sorry, bro, if I pronounced your name wrong. Oh, Christ. Okay, so when do you plan to make your classic physique debut? Do they make you requalify for changing categories? Is that correct?
Yeah. So because I'm at the pro level and I compete in the IFBB, the International Federation of Bodybuilding, I'm able to switch between classes freely whenever I want. But if you choose a class, and Dan knows, I know Dan, if you choose a class, then you have to stick with that class for the entire year. I think there's a little bit of, I see some hearts going on right there. So bless. You guys get a flex. Hey, quick flex. But yeah, I mean, I know when I'm going to do my classic physique debut, and I didn't even want to put it out there, but retirement was actually on my mind.
Are you going to retire before you're 30?
Do you feel like you need to?
How can you be like the top 30 under 30 if you're retired? So you got to hold out until there's the top 30 under 30.
In regards to the world of competition, I had actually been at peace with retirement. Yeah. But now, it's going to sound crazy, but the fans, they want to see me in the classic physique division. Now, do I have what it takes in regards to the size to compete in that division? I'm not hyped up on a ton of steroids, so probably not.
So is the classic judged in the same way?
Classic Physique is judged in an entirely different way. It's more based off of the style of posing, which is what I'm world renowned for, is my posing and being, considered the world's best posing coach for men's physique division as well.
Perfect.
So, people have been wanting to see me allow myself to kind of get into a different division that allows for new posing, because the men's physique posing is very, just side quarter turn, back pose, side pose, and stuff like that. And in the IFBB, it's only front and back. In the classic physique division, you can throw up double bicep flexes. You can throw up, like
the classics that you see.
The classic, the beautiful stuff. It's your body, and that's one of the things. Is like, when I was creating new styles of posing for men's physique division, I say, well, you know what? These guys have the freedom to flex and pose however they want to. You're using your body as a tool. The body is the most amazing tool
invention
ever. So why are you limiting what I'm able to do? I understand there's a criteria that we need to judge and compare us athletes, but at the same time, I kind of really just bend the rules as much as I possibly can. Like I said,
until you're told not to. Right?
Yeah, nonconformist, man, all the way.
Awesome.
So, that's pretty exciting.
So I'm not gonna say when my classic physique debut is, because we just announced that this morning, Dan. I know you saw that, so thank you. But stay tuned.
Okay, you got your another homie, Liberty Fitness TO.
Yeah,
question for Eren.
Mike, we had a meeting today. What up?
Liberty Fitness TO wants to know, how did you get to be such a legend?
Oh, this is a multi-layered question. Hey.
How do we apply such activities?
Okay, what are the standards then? You know what? At the end of the day, I just had a passion for always finishing everything that I started. That was it. That's seriously it. Like, didn't matter if I was, it didn't matter anything. You just finish what you start. Those are some principles that my dad always kind of really, instilled within me. If you start something, it doesn't matter how long it takes, just make sure that you finish it, or just don't even start at all.
Yeah.
Right?
You got another question coming in?
No, that's just text messages. This is just the life right here. It's just...
Yeah.
But go ahead, yeah.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, this guy...
I've got one thing I wanted to say.
Yes.
On the word legend. So I was just flipping through here.
What did you see?
You got a lot of praise going on.
Well, that's
okay.
A lot of praise. Canadian. This guy says you're a national hero. That's pretty big, man.
Well, let me see that.
Dope.
Yeah. King Charles the 42nd.
Hey, yeah.
What's up, King Charles?
So, shout out to King let's Charles. Go over this. The definition of legend.
Oh, snap.
Adjective. A story coming down from the past, especially one popularly regarded as historical, although not verifiable. The legend of a lost continent. And then B, a body of such stories. C, a popular myth of recent origin, the legend of Loch Ness Monster. D, a person or thing that inspires legend. A baseball legend, the subject of a legend. So that's a pretty good description of you, I guess.
I'll take D for 1 million.
So it's clear you are inspiring, so it's not that far-fetched to call you a legend. And it just so happens your last name's Legend.
I'll take it.
Yeah, man, all the way to the bank too, sir.
Hey.
So do you feel the angst or any kind of anxiety to, I see that a lot of people follow you and a lot of people absorb your energy a lot while you're at the gym and your surroundings. So you feel an angst or an anxiety to take that all on your shoulders. So I think that a lot of people are actually looking for some type of motivation, and not just in a gym level, but on a personal level as well too, and obviously absorbing your energy. So do you feel some type of angst in that, or do you enjoy taking that on as a full package, I guess, so to speak?
There's a lot of ways to look at it, and I think the primary thing for me is, I have I feed off of their energy. I feed off of the energy that people give me, because at the end of the day, you know what, I was gonna do whatever it is that I was gonna do, no matter what. I'm a lone wolf. I'm just gonna, if I have a goal, I'm gonna go get it. I don't care if there's obstacles in my way. I don't care if people are gonna support me. I'm just gonna go get it regardless. But the fact now having fans, supporters, everybody around saying like, hey, go get it, or like, you inspired me. There are those days that I wake up and I'm like, I'm gonna still go and do, like this morning actually, I had a migraine and I was like, it sucks, man. I have a migraine right now, but like I'm still gonna go to the gym because that's like it's in my blood, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you read some messages from the fans, from the supporters, and they're like, yeah, you know, like, you know, you helped me get through this today, or you did this today, or like you're amazing, or whatever it is that they're saying. And then you're just like, you just get a boost of confidence, and it just really makes you feel that much more in the present moment to do whatever it is that you're doing.
Just re-energizes you.
Just energizes the hell out of you.
So in other words, you can feel the love, and you just pick it up and roll with it.
Because you know what? At the end of the day, man, I could be doing a million different things for a profession, but I'm doing this, and I love this. I get to wear sweatpants all day.
The Liberty Boy special.
Yeah, all day, and I get paid for it. And it's not about the money, but you got to make a living, right? And you know, I have people telling me that I inspire them, so that's a beautiful thing, because you could be doing a job somewhere where you don't interact with people any day, but you're still making an impact. And you never really know how much of an impact that you're making. So social media and having people say, hey, Aaron, you know, I got out of bed today because you said this time. Or like, you know, I've challenged people before. I said, wake up every single day, say 3 nice things about yourself, and go on with your day, you know? I do a lot of public motivational speaking as well. So these are some of the things that I'm passionate about. And it's another way for me just to reach and connect with people. That's really what it's about, to empower people.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
So do you go to bed at night with a smile on your face, or do you wake up in the morning with a smile on your face?
Okay.
That's pretty deep question.
That's a deep one right there.
I'm not even stoned, dude.
Yeah. That's you know, I would say that I do, but I am human. You know, I have challenges just like any other person does. And, you know, there's a lot of pressure. I would say that's kind of like, that's one of the things that not too many people will talk about, is the pressure, you know what I mean? If you created this facade, now you have to maintain this facade.
But that's why you created it.
But I've created it because it challenges me to be a better person. And now that I'm so far along with it, and there's a lot of people that really, you know, are empowered or motivated by me, you know, if I could take a step back, actually, the motto of Legend Nation, my team, my brand, is Legends Lead by Example.
Yeah.
So if I'm ever doing something that's not so, not much of a leader kind of thing, then I always have to tell myself, no, Aaron, you're not leading by example right now. What would the supporters say? What would the supporters think if you did this, that, or the other? Or if they caught you doing this, that, or the other, whatever it may be.
Do you look like a hypocrite, or you just pull your shit together and make it work?
And that's
so in other words, what you're saying is you go to bed with a smile on your face and you wake up with one.
Yes.
So gratitude is a beautiful thing. Not everybody gets gratitude.
No,
at your age.
Yeah, I mean? That's true.
So those are your blessings fully counted. That's for sure.
I've been humbled.
So I got
let's go over that. What humbled you? What humbled you?
You know, after winning multiple shows back to back, and pretty much, you know, not feeling like there was too much competition until I got to the pro level, where I knew the game was going to be completely different. There was a lot of people that were around me that were fake supporters. Yeah. You know, and I had to learn the hard.
You call them Klingons?
I call them Klingons.
Sweet.
I had to, there's a lot of them. I had to learn the hard way of who's real and who's not, because I'm very open to giving lots of love to everyone. You know, and I've been taken advantage by a lot of people. You know, whether it's financially or whether it's
psychic vampires.
Those damn psychic vampires will get you, right? Or just people who want to be part of the team, but they don't really want to contribute to the movement, to the vision.
They just want the benefits.
They just want the benefits to say, hey, yeah, you know, I'm friends with Aaron, kind of thing like that, right? And, you know, it still helps grow the brand, but at the same time, you know, I've had a lot of people around me who really care about me say, like, no, you need to be a little bit more selective with who you really let into your circle. You need to be a little bit more, you know, jaded, a little bit more sharp. And I'm like, you know what? That's not who I am, though. But I had to sharpen the edges just a little bit with some people. And I've had to, you know, kind of tone things down in some ways and put the gas on some other things too in my life. Just being very vague about it. So it's kind
of like just maturity in its own right. Like, you no longer pull your shirt off and walk around the bar without a shirt on and wave your shirt in the air.
Well, I mean, Frisky Fridays, right?
Frisky Fridays.
Is that still a thing tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so. It possibly can be, man.
It could be a thing.
Whatever it is.
Sounds like that strip bar in Yonge Street.
Frisky Fridays.
Is that a thing?
The roast beef is good. There and take off after. You had a question.
So, have you started taking any acting lessons or anything like that?
I haven't taken any acting lessons. I am passionate about getting into the acting. That's one of the big transitions that I'm trying to do this year. I wanted to start taking some acting classes, and I'm
How about this?
totally fugazi about it. What's that?
Just do it. You could even do some trade-off, you know what I mean? Do some personal training and guidance.
Some
trade
services.
Yeah, with like one of the top guys in town, or women, sorry. Gals.
Yeah. That's kind of the next step. But for me right now, it's just I don't have the time. And I know that sounds crazy to say, but I'm caught up in like the rat race of just like do the work, the groundwork, the everyday work, the hustle,
Listen, everybody says that. So that's one thing. Why don't you just tell me tell everybody, because I'm sure a lot of people would actually be interested in this. What's the average day like you from when you wake up, what time, to when you go through? No, it's because everyone has their own thing, you know what I mean? Their own routine and what holds them back.
So lately I've been waking up at 7:30 for absolutely no reason. Just because.
Sleeping in until 7:30?
Not even. I don't sleep. I don't sleep.
That's sleeping in.
No, I'm on the hustle. So I'll wake up at 7:30. I'll just answer client programs. I just totally cut coffee out the past couple of days. So
good for you.
So it's on.
That was your migraine this morning.
That was my migraine. Yeah, the withdrawal.
It is.
So I'm on green tea right now, which is mildly caffeinated, and it still kind of gives me enough of a boost.
It's a matcha green tea.
Okay. From the maca root.
Matcha.
It sounds like some kind of drug.
It's really good for
new stuff.
New stuff. Antioxidants. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So I'll be sipping on that all morning. I'll prepare this right here, actually, this bottle. Lemon, freshly squeezed lemon and ginger and pink Himalayan salt, which is good for your digestion, it's good for your skin. It also actually kind of promotes a thermogenic environment in your body, which will help you burn more fat. And the whole digestion thing is another thing actually that I want to talk about, but we could talk about some other time. So I'll just answer client emails, make sure that my athletes are on point with their diet, whatever it is that they're doing. There's a lot of opportunities that I do with like charities that may be reaching out to me, or public speaking engagements, or even like acting opportunities that I have to go to, or photo shoots and stuff like that that I have to kind of just keep up with the emails.
The clients that you're working with, are you on the phone with them? Are you doing video chats with them?
All the above.
What's your service?
All the above, yeah.
So you're giving a detailed service to these guys, right? Guide them through their days.
Yes.
If they're not feeling like it, you're riding their ass. Get up, get out there. Did you drink this? I told you to drink this. Did you eat that? You haven't eaten yet today? No wonder you're a bitch. Get up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the main kind of thing that I do with the fitness end of things is I am a fitness and health consultant, but a lot of people want to work with me for contest prep. So what's
the lead on that then for contest prep? 6 weeks?
How long does the person?
These guys are prepping for a contest, right?
Yes.
And contest prep.
They need
What's the lead in? Like how many? A week? 7 days?
It really depends on where their body is. There's some people that maybe we won't even have a date scheduled. They'll just hit me up on an email and they'll say, hey, I really like your profile, I like what you're promoting. I would love to work with you, and I'm thinking about maybe doing a bodybuilding show in next year.
So you help them through, you set a goal,
yeah.
And you work them through that.
Yeah, trying to establish an understanding of, I try and put myself in their body. I try and just like how you asked me what my day is like, I'll ask, Sarah, okay, so like, Sarah, what's your day like, Okay, well, I wake up, I do this, and I have this, and stress management, blah, 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 blah. It's always about stress. So I try and make sure that, we control the stress. We make sure that they're not in a super stressed out environment throughout the entire day, because if the goal is to get into a ridiculously lean physique and shape, we have to make sure that the variables and foundation are set up to allow for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because exactly, your body's under attack. Anytime that your body reaches that plateau, we need to make sure that we're challenging it with some kind of external stimulus. And that was the caloric deficit that we were talking about. You could either obtain that through exercise, cardio, which is exercise as well, or like actually reducing the quantity of the food that the individual is eating, or doing carb cycling. So like one day 3,000 calories, next day 2,500.
It's like eating a bowl of pasta before a football game.
Fuck yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. So it's certain things like that.
Carb load.
Yeah, nutrient timing, exactly. Refeeds, cheat days, things like this physiologically, if they're done at the right time and place, will have benefit to help you lose more weight.
So are you a 7-day-a-week kind of guy? On Sundays you get called, oh, I don't know about what's going on, meltdown, whatever. Are you like 7 days a week?
Oh, with the athletes. Yeah, so some of the athletes that I'm working with, when they're doing a contest or a competition, or even if it's a photo shoot or anything like that, I like to have the check-ins every 7 days. Right? Now, I know some athletes do 2 weeks check-ins and you don't hear from your coach between those 2 weeks. What your coach is doing between now and then, I don't know. I don't care. That's not how I operate.
That's not you, so it doesn't
No, I'm on call essentially. Yeah, I'm on call essentially with everybody every single day. They could text me at any point in time and just hit me up if they want something. You know what I mean? It's like they're my friend. You know what I mean? I don't try and like say like, oh, sorry, you know, it's Tuesday night past 9, so yeah, you know, I'm not gonna respond to your message right now, and like you're shit out of luck, because like it doesn't come down to that. It comes down to, you are representing my brand. You are a part of the team. You're a part of the family. You're a part of the movement. So I really want to make sure that these people are feeling valued all the way through. So
you care.
Because I care.
You have to care. So you know what? Let's talk about, there's 2 things that I want to talk about. I want to talk about gut health.
Yes.
It's a big topic that everybody's that's talking about, and also testosterone in men. Yes. And I'll explain my question after that. But let's talk about the gut health factor that you mentioned. You wanted to say something about that. How much of it is a factor when people are competing at high levels, psychologically?
So I'll just start this here with a quote that I heard. I can't remember what the doctor's name was, but this was about 4 years ago when I was in Ottawa. We had a seminar. He said this to me, and I'm going to put you on the spot. He said, "You are what you eat." And then we all agreed. Okay, yeah, we've heard that before. But he said, no, screw that. He said, you are only what you digest. So that got us all thinking. And then he challenged us to, it was me and a bunch of the other fitness and health consultants. And he said, you know what? Has anybody here ever taken an antibiotic before? We're all like, yeah, obviously.
Talk about gut.
Yeah.
Gut health.
Yeah.
Center of everything.
You know where this is going.
All that.
Yeah.
And he's like, so if you've ever taken an antibiotic once, your gut flora is totally compromised.
One
time.
You gotta reboot.
Yeah. So that was something that was very powerful to me. I remember hearing about that. That was like 4 years ago, like I said. And now you're seeing a lot of people putting emphasis on gut health, on do you have enough fiber? Do you have ulcers? Do you have leaky gut? Are you actually digesting food? Are the foods that you're eating inflammatory for your body type? There's also
like red peppers. A lot of people don't know red peppers.
Yeah, there's also blood typing.
Really, yeah? Blood typing
as
is
well.
huge.
Yeah. So, you know, by those regards, that's one of the things that I'm seeing a lot of people are putting emphasis on. And you see people like with their teas and stuff now. Like some people, this is the thing.
Peppermint's really good for your stomach.
Yes.
A lot of people think eating yogurt is going to help you, but you kind of like it's not
the
bad.
Probiotics or
no, for just in natural gut health, right?
Okay.
But just actually eating flora, like you can get flora pills. They're like $30, $30 to $50 a month supply. Every day take some flora. It's good for you.
Well, the issue that I'm seeing in the fitness industry, and this is like something that I've always wanted to kind of discuss, is that there is so much misinformation, you know, in the bodybuilding industry, in the fitness industry, in the fitness, we're putting quotations, fitness industry, of people taking advantage of people who are just trying, and it's nothing new, right?
Nope.
But we see people saying, oh, well, you know, drink this tea here and you're going to lose so much fat.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how much science is behind that? Or the worst is actually appetite suppressants.
Yeah.
That is the worst possible thing that you can do. And I have a lot of my athletes, usually the first thing that every single one of my athletes ask me is there a fat burner that I can take? No. No, there is not.
Well, a pretty good example is a few years back, acai got picked up by the I don't know.
Yeah, we want to call it the FDA.
Fat burner community or whatever.
Yeah.
And everybody was saying that acai was this wonder drug that's going to help you burn fat. But the reality is that it's high in antioxidants. That's the benefits of acai. You know what I mean? The Brazilians would eat it on their pizza. The first time I ever had it was in 2004 or 2005. I usually eat it every day. As Brazilians would put them on top of granola or whatever on the beach and eat it, or just eat the berries. You know what I mean? What they call palm berries, I believe. But that's the same thing. So it got roped in, Oprah, and everybody jumped on this whole acai thing. And it turned out to be like, shit information that went out. And all of a sudden everybody's getting sued for it. I think Dr. Drew, or there were several people who got caught up in it. But as a backlash to that whole thing, so talking to some people about this, in specific my stepmom, I go, I'd like to take my acai every day. She's pretty healthy. And she goes, oh, that's bullshit. They're getting sued for that. That just doesn't work. It's overpriced. They're ripping you off. I go, what do you mean? I go, I'm just buying it and eating it for the health, the health benefits of it. She goes, oh, everyone, this does a fat burner, blah, blah. I was like, no. It's just like anything else. Anything can be taken. Cherries, for example. You want to make cherries the next fat burning magic thing. A good marketing campaign to roll out. And that's kind of what the industry's been playing.
There's a pro and there's a con to everything, but use and abuse, it's not going to help you get the result that you want, right? So that's one of the things that, I see a lot.
Balance, maybe?
Balance. It's always about balance. Yeah, you know this, so.
No, I'm sure everyone would love to hear about it. Explain.
I mean, do some of the supplements or whatever people are promoting to help lose fat or whatever, gain muscle, do they work? I think to a certain extent they do. Does, misuse and overuse and abuse mean more fat loss or more muscle gain? I don't think so. Your body is smarter than you. You know what I mean?
It made you.
Your body is always trying to maintain homeostasis. So the second you push it out of the homeostasis, you're going to notice some benefits for a little bit, but it's going to start to bounce back. It's either going to bounce back to its optimal state of homeostasis, or it will adapt and adjust to whatever it is that you have put onto it.
So it's kind of like the guy who just wants to eat loads and loads of protein and justify it so he can get gains.
I like the way you said that. Or loads and loads of protein.
Just like big like Fred Flintstone steaks. Or the guy who's going to skip meals and just do protein shakes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a supplement, right?
Yeah.
Supplements your meals. Exactly. Supplements your diet.
Yeah.
It can't be your whole diet.
It's not a substitute. It's a supplement, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of things that I see that are out there that people are just really caught up in the hype. It's the fat burners really are the thing that I see people, they love the most. But I mean, if it's going to suppress your appetite, well, okay, sure, you may be in a caloric deficit because you're not eating, but your body still requires nutrients. Also, the issue with some fat burners is that they're very highly caffeinated. There's a lot of stimulants in them. So
dehydrates the shit out of you.
So it'll dehydrate you, but also people think that, okay, well, the more stimulant I am because I feel something, it must be working. Right. Well, no, the issue is now like you've actually tapped into like adrenal fatigue, which is another thing that people are really talking about right now. And I was actually talking to a few athletes about that recently. It's like you're putting your body in a more stressed out state. So what is your body saying? Fight or flight. Okay, your body is now like in survival mode because it's like, I don't know why, but like suddenly like I feel like I have to produce more adrenaline right now because I may have to like fight somebody. But guess what? I'm sitting at a desk from 9 to 5.
What if guys take the that's true enough, right? It's just like banging your head against the wall. You're in bed till 7:30.
Yeah.
More time for your day. Get up at 5:30. Hit the gym earlier.
Forget
create
that.
2 more hours of your day. Boom. You'll be surprised.
Some people can do it. Some people.
So listen, tell us some awesome information. I'm sure everybody's enjoyed it thoroughly.
I'm just saying what's up to the people that are here. I see Roselle's here. I see Mel is here. I see Jessica is here. The homie Johnny. I see you're here too. You get a flex from me. The homie Zeko, what up? And who else do we have? The homie Dean.
J. Augustine 27.
Yeah, that's a brother. What's he saying?
My brother.
My brother. We actually...
So what do you got for like some stories here? You got any good funny stories? Like any incidents, upside downs, failures?
So it
doesn't turn into one big lecture. Just give them a taste of what you're about, and we'll move on to the next, which is the stories.
That's yeah, you're putting me on the spot right now.
That's the whole point. Best stories are the ones you don't want to tell. So just dig deep, pull one out.
Yeah. Maybe how I got backstage at the Arnold's when I met Arnold.
Perfect. Tell us about that. Not many people
that's
consider
PG.
actually met Arnold. We need to get a picture of his ring though for Instagram for sure.
Okay.
Get a good angle so you can see his face in the background.
I'll do one of these.
Well, no, we'll block your face with the ring.
That's a good one.
I know. So.
You gotta get his face in the background.
You gotta lift
Now
it
I'm
up.
on the spot here. I'm trying to tell
For
stories.
sure.
And
Tell your stories about your pimp rim.
twist the wrist, flick of the wrist.
Get
There you go.
Closer.
Don't
see the
worry.
ring.
Yeah, you can. Look at that shit.
Hey, okay.
So for those who can't see it, it's a
Don't worry.
ginormous.
Just follow us
Inch
on
and a half
Instagram and you'll
ring.
see it very soon.
Yes.
At City Podcast.
So I competed at the Arnold Classic last year. It was exactly a year ago because they just had it. And it's in Columbus, Ohio. Arnold hosts this show. He has a few other Arnold Classic shows. I can't remember. I think there's Brazil and like Australia or something like that.
Germany or something, isn't there? As well?
I don't know if there's one in Germany.
Or maybe his home country.
But Austria.
Yeah, right.
Austria.
Yeah, and so I was supposed to, so I'm going to talk a little bit of bodybuilding lingo right now, just so you guys understand. So there's something called first callouts. First callouts means at a regional level show, if you get top 5, it means you're in the first callouts. That means you qualify to the next level, to the provincials. Provincials, same thing, top 5, you qualify to nationals, right? And so on and so forth. But when you're in the pro level, first callouts just means like, these are the bad mother, right?
You can swear. You can swear.
It's
Yeah.
the bad motherfucker.
Well, I don't
bad
swear
man.
on my Instagram, so
Yeah.
I do.
that's all right. But so it's kind of bragging rights, right? But there's usually only 5 guys in the first callouts. In the pro level, there may be 6 guys. It may be top 10. In this case, it was 11 out of 39 athletes, right?
That's pretty big.
So I was, fortunate enough to be the first Canadian athlete and still the first and only Canadian athlete to represent Canada at that show, and I got first callouts. So I was considered top 11. And the photos on my Instagram. Check out my Instagram. And I was fortunate enough to get in the first callouts. Now, what they did was they said whoever was in the first callouts will come back for the finals later in the day. Is the way that they did it. Everybody else goes home.
Okay.
So I remember. Oh, this is actually such a crazy story here. So I remember being in the lineup on the side when they called us all off to the sides to determine how they were gonna structure. Anyways, I'm not gonna get into how crazy the bodybuilding shows, but how they're gonna structure the first callouts of prejudging, which is where in the morning they focus on who is going to be top 10, but we don't know. We don't know who. We just know these are the top 11 guys. But it could be any one of these guys. They move you around, they compare you, right? So I was in the first callouts, but what ended up happening is they called me off to the side with everyone else, and they forgot about me.
What?
They forgot about me. So I was the only athlete that didn't get called back on out of every single one of the athletes, but the only one that was in first callouts that didn't get called back on to go and pretty much like prove my placing. I could have placed 11th, I could have placed 10th, I could have won. We don't know, right?
Oh,
Wow.
fuck.
Yeah. So,
and you're Canadian. So you're playing enough to say, no, you're playing enough to sit there and go, okay.
Yeah. So, but the
Smash
thing is,
tables,
like, if you don't get
judges.
called, you don't just step up like, yeah, I deserve to be in the first call. So I'm standing there and I'm waiting. And I'm like, okay, they didn't call me. That's like the first 5 or 6 guys that I remember being in the first callouts with. They're the best guys in the world. I know who they are. I'm up there with them. And then they called the other 5, and I'm like, okay, that other guy that's up there, I don't think he was there, even though you're not focused on who's next to you. But I was like, okay. Then they called the third callouts, and I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense. So then anyhow, they gone through the whole show, and I get off stage, and I'm just like, I don't know, this doesn't feel right. And we got backstage and all the athletes were waiting, all 39 of us. And they said, okay, we're gonna say 10 names or 11 names. If we don't call your name, go home, you're done. Or just go to the expo, or just, you're done. You're not getting back on stage for the finals. And for me, being a natural athlete competing at the pro level, I'm known for my posing. I know going into any show that I'm not gonna be the biggest guy. I'm not gonna be the leanest guy. but they will not outpose me, right? So for me, they were only gonna allow us to do posing in the evening if you had qualified for the finals. So I was like, I don't care to win the show. I just want to go and show people my dope-ass posing routine, right? So I was happy when I got first calls because I was like, sweet, I'm in the finals. I get to show people what I've been working on, right? And each show I've done a different kind of posing routine, and it's something that the fans and supporters really look forward to, right? So I was at that level right there where we were backstage, and I'm just waiting for them to call my name, and they didn't call it. And I was like, kind of bummed out. I was like, well, that sucks, but something still doesn't feel right. So come time for the finals, I was just walking in, not even trying to get backstage. I was just walking into the expo to watch the finals go down, pretty bummed out. Like, I thought I was supposed to be on that stage, man. What happened, right? Yeah. And instantly, the people at the door were like, oh, you're a pro athlete. You should be backstage right now. And I was like, yeah, yes, I am. Right? So they're like, okay, well, let's escort you backstage. So I was like, okay, well, let's go. So what ended up happening is the second I got right backstage, like the curtain was right there, and I just stepped one foot in, I see Jeremy Buendia, and he is current three-time Mr. Olympia champion. And he sees me, and he's like, oh, Eren Legend, what's going on, bro? How you doing? And stuff like that. So I was like, sweet. I'm not supposed to be backstage right now, but I have Mr. Olympia. Like there couldn't be anybody other than Arnold himself that could have validated the fact that I was backstage. So this woman was insisting. She's like, well, let's I'll escort you backstage, because like it was like you have to go back and back and back and back, right, to get to the pump up room, right? And I'm just talking to Jeremy Buendia, and we're just shooting it, and we're walking to the back and stuff like that. And this woman is like, I'm walking by and I see the list of the names, and I just had to see for myself because now I'm backstage. And I'm looking at the list and I'm trying to see if my name's there. And I remember she was like, oh, do you want me to take like a picture of you with the list to show that you qualified, kind of thing? And I'm looking and I'm just like, and I see my name's not on there. So I was like, oh, no, it's okay. So I started walking away, and I see she's looking at the list, and she's like, what was your name again? And I turned the corner and I booked it. I was like, Eren Legend. And I just booked it because she was going to see that my name wasn't on the list to be there anymore, right?
Yeah.
So I booked it. It's backstage. It's crazy. It's the pump up room. It's nonsense. I just duck into one of the rooms right there. And I'm in the room. I don't know if you guys know Kai Green. He's one of the biggest bodybuilders. He's like backstage.
Monster.
He's a monster, right? And he was there, and I believe he won that day. And he was there, and he was pumping up. I've spoken to him. He's super duper cool. All the other pro athletes were all backstage getting ready and stuff like that. And I decided to take, this opportunity because I do a lot of vlogging, right? And I was actually already doing a vlogging series. So I just went around with my camera, interviewing my buddies who are all the best athletes
I'm sure
in the
people
world.
loved.
And they loved it, right? So I'm there, and I got backstage. I'm talking to Jeremy, and he's like, what the hell are you doing, man? You should be on stage right now. Like, why aren't you in the finals? I was like, I don't know what happened. But he's like, but you were in first call out. So like, it doesn't make sense. So I was like, can you look into it? So he was looking into it for me, and I was interviewing this guy who actually runs the Arnold Sports Festival page, the Instagram page. So I was doing an interview with him, and the guy interjects, and he's like, oh, the man's over there, man. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, the man? Who's the man? I'm talking to you. You're the man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I look over, and I see it's Arnold. So I was like, oh.
That man.
The man. Why didn't you say so? So I slowly start walking over, and I'm filming myself, with him in the background. He was just in the washroom or whatever. And I give my phone to the guy. His name's Rudy. And I'm like, you have to take a picture. I'm sorry. Like, no matter what, like, you're going to. Oh,
you have to take a picture.
It just cut out right there.
That's okay.
We're gonna start our live. Yes. Sorry, my Instagram just cut out right there. So we're in the height of the story right there, right?
So you turn around.
Hold on.
So it's the man.
Are you back in?
Yes.
You're still gonna get it on the podcast, but yeah.
Yes.
But you're good. You're good.
So I turn around and I see Arnold. And I walk up to him, and I gave the camera to my buddy there. I was like, you gotta take a picture. So I'm shaking Arnold's hand, and one thing that I actually found out is Arnold doesn't shake anybody's hand, especially if you're wearing tan, because he doesn't want to get the tan on his hands.
Makes sense.
So I went in for like the full, I'm going to do it here with you, but I went in for the full handshake like this. And if you look in the photo that I have,
like this.
yes,
I saw that.
Yeah. So if you look in the photo, the guy that's between Arnold and I, he's actually coming up like this.
I saw that. Yeah.
He's going like that.
That looked weird.
Yeah, because he actually told me,
don't shake his hand.
You're not allowed to touch Arnold. So while I'm already holding his hand, I'm like, dude, I'm holding Arnold's hand, man. Come on. Like, there's no way I'm letting go right now. Like, the damage
someone take a picture, quick.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, the damage is done. So I was like, I don't care what you think, man. Like, I'm going to shake his hand. I'm going to get the photo. So, like, I held it like that, but I just kind of, like, let go just a little bit so you can see, like, the ring is kind of sticking out. And, like, people are like, why are you giving Arnold, like, this fairy handshake? Like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, that's the story.
Yeah.
Right? So, it was really good. Yeah, and if you actually look at the photo, Arnold doesn't stop.
So listen,
he's blurry in the photo because he's always moving.
He's afraid of everyone.
He's
what he's afraid of? Father Time catching up to him.
Yeah.
So listen, I think that could wrap us up right now. What a better way to wrap up
for sure
the podcast and a killer story like that.
There's so much more to talk about.
We're gonna post a picture of your ring on the Instagram so everyone can see it. It goes well with the picture as well.
Okay.
How can people get a hold of you? If they want to book some consultations, they got some competitions coming up. Like, run us through your promo kit. What you got?
You guys can find me on ErenLegend.com. Eren is EREN Legend. Legend.com. And yeah, there's just a whole bunch of services that people can find there, whether you want to do a photo shoot, whether you want to kind of get like a little bit more of an understanding of how to be a model. That's one of the things that I'm trying to push out as well. There's exercises, there's supplementation protocols, cardiovascular training, nutrition protocols as well on there.
Do you have a blog as well up on that?
I have a blog on there. I will be a little bit more active. I am pretty active on YouTube. You could find me in YouTube. Just type in Eren Legend, Legend Fitness and Health. And I have a lot of videos that I'm going to be promoting out there too. Just kind of, challenging things in fitness, health, and the modeling kind of aspect, acting, just, days in the life too, but exercise programs and stuff like that. Free workouts. I have a Twitter account. Yes, it's Eren Legend. Yes, on Twitter.
What about Instagram?
Instagram is Eren Legend IFBB Pro.
Ooh,
yeah.
And lastly, Snapchat.
I don't have Snapchat.
You're not snapping?
I don't snap.
Wow.
I Insta-snap.
Insta-snap.
That's what I call it at least. Facebook Eren Legend.
There we go.
Yeah, I don't have an athlete's page. I have an account, because I just find that it's so much more easier to connect with the people. Athlete's page, I think a lot of things can kind of get lost. And to me, like having an athlete's page, I'm probably going to bite my words some other time. I think it's just very arrogant. It's like...
And one last thing.
Follow me.
You're from Ottawa.
I'm from Ottawa.
Chad's from Ottawa.
We are.
Hey. Yes.
What is your favorite thing about Toronto? If you were to sell Toronto to someone coming to town, where would you take them? What would you to dinner somewhere? What's your favorite place?
Forget about dinner. It's about the women.
Hey, I won't even talk about where to bring people or this or that. I just want to talk about the freedom of diversity.
Yeah.
I feel in Ottawa, and I love Ottawa. I love the city. It's very tight. It's very, this is the box here, and this is what you can do.
It's the nation's capital, right? So you're kind of restricted. So you're feeling the freedom of Toronto.
In Toronto, I can do whatever the hell I want. And it's not that like I'm a reckless kind of guy and I'm going to go and do this or just go and do that. I have some examples in my mind. I'm not even going to say it.
Would you say it's your new home, though?
Toronto,
like you made yourself at home.
Toronto is definitely my new home. And I'm thinking maybe a move to Cali in about a year and a half, 2 years.
So you're going to keep your digs in Toronto still, because you could never give up your Toronto digs.
Yeah.
Because you'll never be able to afford to buy something again.
That's
the
true.
prices get up through the roof.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's
but no, Toronto's definitely home, and it's given me a bigger platform to reach out and connect to more people. It's not like I'm not in Ottawa anymore. It's just I'm in Toronto, but there's still energy being distributed to all places in Canada. For that. Yeah. Yes.
All right, it was great to meet the legend.
My man. Yes. Bless.
I'm happy. I'm happy you came on, man. Everybody. So thanks for the questions. We can.
If you want to send us direct.
Yeah, you want to send us direct questions at info@thecity podcast, or hit us up at the City Podcast on Instagram and Twitter if you want. DM, well, by all means. We have a Facebook page too if you want to hit us up there too. But thanks, guys. Thanks for the amazing response and the support that you've been giving us on YouTube, man. We're hitting close to over 20,000 views on YouTube. So thanks.
That's like
thanks
secondary
for that.
too. We should check.
Yeah.
The podcast itself.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. And
I didn't know it would be that busy. I guess this is serving a purpose.
Oh, they want to know who's interviewing, so.
Yeah. Steve, Chad, Steve.
How's it going, kids?
Hey. You want me to flex? What?
There's the flex there.
See where I get bit? Oh, I got bit over here too.
Boom.
Yeah.
They're sending some love your way. All right, guys. I think we're going to take this out. Boom. You guys got a flex from me. And that's the CN Tower on the back. Bless, bless.
All right, we out.
We out.
We out.